And I've noticed that people have a very superficial way of discussing the Iranian-Israeli conflict. Because you go on social media and what you notice is that people are treating this like a football game. Everyone has already picked a team. And what they're interested in when they're asking, like, what do you think about the conflict? They're not really interested in getting any new takes. No, they're interested in seeing that you agree with them or that you're supporting their side. And if you're not supporting their side, they're usually accusing you of either being a Muslim or being paid by the Muslims or being an agent of Mossad or worshipping. This is another one, worshipping the Jewish people. This is what I see on social media. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if this is like in real life, because I don't live in America. Like maybe people discuss it differently at the workplace with their family. I don't know. But a lot of people want me to talk about it, right? So basically, which side are you on, V? Are you on my side? Or do I call you an idiot and then I unsubscribe? I generally like don't even understand why it matters what side are people on. Like, did Congress vote on this? Was this in the previous elections or anything like that? Like, does the opinion of foreign policy matter in 2025? Is the United States at war with Iran currently? Because I don't think it is, but apparently it can bomb it, right? Like, my understanding is that the people, they vote on important issues in a democracy, right? Well, apparently, sometimes, not so much, because our leaders are more wise than us. And if that's the case, why does it even matter, what I think? Especially from Romania. Like, Romania hasn't engaged with the Middle East, so. But okay, no, fine, I'll make a video. I'll talk about it, okay? But instead of talking about, like, which side I'm on, let's talk about something more interesting. Everyone is discussing now the Strait of Hormuz. Did you notice that? Like, overnight, everyone is an expert in the Strait of Hormuz. I go on social media and people are like, there's no way that Iran can blah, 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 blah. Or there's no way that Israel will allow blah, 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 blah. Like, they're all of a sudden experts. Okay, great. But what is the Strait of Hormuz? Well, it's this little thingy here, right? And through this, around 20% of the world's oil supply goes through every single day. So it has huge economic significance, right? Like when people ask, like, why is the United States in the Middle East? Why are we getting involved? Why do we care? It's so that your oil price is 20% cheaper. And if your oil price is 20% cheaper, literally everything you buy, including the eggs, are also 20% cheaper. Because everything requires oil. We haven't invented the teleportation device yet, okay? Things don't sprout at the supermarket. The eggs don't just materialize from the ether in the convenience store. Someone has to deliver them there with a truck, right? So basically, the United States, in order to maintain your way of life, has to make sure that shit doesn't hit the fan in the Middle East. And one of them is the Strait of Hormuz, which, as I mentioned before, if it ever gets clogged, 20% of the oil supply on Earth stops flowing. Meaning you're going to have shortages. Meaning prices go up. Okay? Meaning recession. We're already in a recession. Like, how much more do you want to find out? Okay, so Iran knows this. And so their strategy for preventing the war, preventing them being attacked, seems to be on betting that the West will chicken out. They're saying, look, we're going to block the strait and we're going to cause massive economic damage to you and your people. In other words, when people notice the gas price going up, they're going to start wondering who did this to me. And then they're going to blame the people responsible for initiating the conflict, right? Like, this is the Iranian plan. And so the Iranian parliament has voted 2 days ago that they want to block this strait. The Iranian parliament is not legally binding. So just because they passed this decision doesn't mean that it will happen overnight. The Iranian supreme leader has to vote on it. So the question is, can they do it? Well, obviously they already have plans for this contingency. This is not something that they discuss overnight. And the plan on blocking such a strait includes mines, submarines, various deterrents. Like, take into account that the ships that are carrying the oil are commercial ships. Like, if you are the captain of a commercial ship, would you want to go through an area that is laden with minefields? Probably not. Okay, so what will happen in the short term is that if they do make this decision, then the supply of oil goes down massively. The demand for oil remains the same, probably even more because people will start panic buying. And you're going to notice an increase in prices, a lowering in the standard of living across many nations. So the question is, well, if Iran can hurt the West in such a simple matter, why haven't they done so already? Well, because number one, Iran also needs to sell its shit. So it requires the strait to be functional so that it can sell its oil to its friendly nations. But if it actually gets stuck, then it's going to affect Iran's economy too. Secondly, they're part of many international treaties. Like, they have signed treaties where they're basically saying that, no, like, this strait belongs to the international community, we're not going to block it. However, like, again, due to the current conflict and the escalation, they're basically saying, fuck your treaties. And so, if this actually gets blocked, what will happen is that in the short term, prices are going to go up. However, there is this thing called the US Navy, which, especially in this region, has been armed and trained specifically for this scenario. They're going to come in, they're going to blow stuff up, and eventually they're going to have to hold the strait in order to allow for the commercial ships to pass. Now, this will be a monumental escalation of the conflict, which up until now, many wouldn't have called it a war. There is a term for it. It's called a threshold, where you're in a situation where it's not peace, but it's not really war either. I do think, however, and I'm pretty certain of this, that if the Iranian government decided to close down the strait, like they put mines and submarines and they send ships in order to guard it, I do think like this will automatically pull the entire world into a conflict in this area. Because the rest of the world simply cannot allow for their oil to stop flowing. Like, it's madness. I know that Greta Thunberg would probably love this. I know that the European Union absolutely adores zero emissions, and this would usher the goal a little bit faster. But in reality, in the real world, oil is required, especially for the military-industrial complex. And so without oil, there is no military-industrial complex, and therefore the spice must flow. So this is my take on what's happening right now, based on my limited understanding. I don't think they are going to actually close the Strait of Hormuz. I think that they are posturing. Again, I can't be 100% sure. I don't know what they're thinking. I can't expect what's going to happen tomorrow. Like, maybe the United States is going to do another series of bombing runs. Who knows? But the idea is that in international politics, usually the threat of the thing is actually worse than the thing itself. Because once the thing itself starts happening, then other nations slowly start to adapt. Case in point, Russia, Ukraine. Like, the gas from Russia is being cut off from Europe. Okay, now it has happened. Where do we go from here? And once the nations realign and they find different suppliers, they find different solutions, then they don't need the Russian gas anymore. Like, it's not even on the table for discussion. So I think, like, Iran understands this as well. However, the way that the conflict in the Middle East works, it's usually, I mean, up until now, it was kind of symbolic. You know, like, there's a symbolic attack with missiles. Most of them get blown up by the Iron Dome, and then the other guys respond, and that's it, right? The reason for this is how the governments operate, right? Like, Benjamin Netanyahu's party, one of the things that they're selling to the Israeli people is that Benjamin Netanyahu keeps them safe. Like, he is like the mother hen, keeping all the Jewish people safe from all the evil Muslim nations that surround them. Right? Like, and he is the only one that can do it. Like, no other Jewish person on planet Earth with Israeli citizenship is capable of accomplishing what leader Benjamin Netanyahu is doing. And therefore, you have to vote for him. In Iran, the Revolutionary Guard is selling the same thing to the people, right? They're basically the only ones capable in keeping Iranians safe from the evil Western forces. And this is why you don't get another revolution, right? Because the same way that the current regime got in power, well, it's the same way another one can, right? Like another revolution. But the reason you don't get another is because people genuinely believe that, well, their leaders keep them safe. And so, for them, politically, this type of posturing, this type of like, oh, they fired missile on us, look, we're responding, we're showing strength, we're showing force, this is what gives them legitimacy. However, up until now, they didn't have their officials killed, right? It did happen every now and then, but not consistently. And so, when that happens, you put them in an existential dread, and furthermore, you make them look weak towards their people. And when you make them look weak and you put them in an existential dread, sometimes they can do things that are irrational in nature, such as blocking the Strait of Hormuz. Now, I personally hope that it doesn't happen, but if it happens, okay, I guess I'll tighten the belt a little bit more. I'll pay for my groceries a little bit more. Why not? At this point, why not? Let me know what you guys think, and as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.